welcome our speakers and our participants, as they join us for today's session. Yeah, thank you. So let's go to the instructions, and the instructions are as follows. Number one is that we urge our participants to mute their microphones. This is to ensure that we don't disturb or distract others with the background noises. So we would be glad if you comply with that. And number two is that whenever we have anyone that has any question, please feel free to make use of the chat box. I would call on the attention of the speakers, to attend to your questions. While number three is that kindly shun all distractions, that would get you carried away from the webinar. As our speakers will be discussing a lot of valuable facts about ICAN exams and tips that you need to know to get that, and the tips which would help you pass your ICAN exams with ease. So let's talk about the order of the programs for today. So the order of the programs for today includes the following. One, of course, the introduction speech, which I've done already. Of course, I would welcome the speakers. So we are glad to have our honorable speakers here. One, Mr. Babalola Omori, our audit guru. We are welcome. Mr. Babalola is a fellow chartered accountant, a fellow member of ICAN, and also a fellow member of ACCA. And he also holds a master's degree. So, Mr. Babalola, we are glad to have you. Welcome, sir. And also our second speaker, Temitope Bayemi. Welcome. Temitope is a foremost chartered accountant with a lot of experience. She's also fondly called Flourish Temi. She works with a leading fintech company. So we're glad to have you here. Welcome. Then our third speaker, Emida Olamide. So Emida is my honorable colleague. Welcome. He's a prize winner of ICAN. Some of us, I don't know, you might know him. He's a prize winner. He's a scholar. Scholar par excellence. So welcome. We are glad to have you. So also we would give room for our tutors to also introduce themselves, tell you more about Excel Academy and what we do at Excel Academy. So then the Q&A session, and also we'll go to the closing speech. So we are glad to have you. Welcome, Mr. Babalola, and I know all can't wait to getting the loads of valuables that we have to offer you in this program. We are glad to have you here. And let me welcome the first speaker, Mr. Babalola Omori. Welcome. We are glad to have you here. Kindly unmute your mic, and we'll be glad to hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, professional colleagues. You are welcome to this session. It's going to be fun. I like something that is fun. First of all, I want to know our audience. Is there anyone that is new to ICAN here? If you are new to ICAN, can you kindly raise your hand?
Or you can use the start box, just put it there. I'm a new student to ICAN, and just put it on
if you are new
start
to
box.
ICAN, raise your hand. Don't be shy, you. Me too. We are once new to ICAN. So thank you for your time. Thank you for logging in. We cherish your presence here, and we will not take it for granted. So Mr. Ahmed has introduced me. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Babalola Omori. I am a value-added employee. I work as a group head, internal and compliance with Page Financials. It's in Lagos, and I previously work at Keystone Bank, FCMB, Finbank, and Minimum Investment. I'm a precocious professional with diverse experience in governance, risk management, compliance, data protection, information security, and I'm also a mentor. I mentor with several organizations, Excel Academy, super past professionals, where we sponsor people for ICAN exam, people that are in final stage, the professional juggernauts. And I'm also a tutor. I'm a tutor with Excel Academy. So why are we here? ICAN. Let's talk about ICAN. The ICAN. What is ICAN itself? We're behind ICAN. What is ICAN itself? How do I become chartered? Is the journey really worth it? What can I do with ICAN? Call it the Institute of Nigeria, established with Act of Parliament 1965 to set standards to be attained by persons seeking to be a member of the profession. And what is profession? The accountancy profession. I'm proud of this profession. When I was in secondary school, I've been dreaming of having that tag after my name, FCA, FCCA. I have several other certifications, but those are the two. I put after my name. If you check me on LinkedIn, Babalola Omori, you see it there. That's what I've deemed since as a secondary school student, and I've achieved it. I'm part of the accountancy and finance profession, and I can't wait for you guys to come on board. So the vision of ICAN is to be a leading global professional body, and the mission statement is to produce world class. Look at it. To produce world class chartered accountants. We are world class. We have ICAN member across the world. A lot of them are Japa. ICAN gives you world class experience. With ICAN, you can have affiliation to other professional bodies in the world, and continually enhance the ethical standards and technical competence in the public interest. The motto is accuracy and integrity. Why I tell you with this is that as an individual, you must have your vision, mission, and motto as an individual too. Babalola Omori, I have my own vision, I have my mission, I have my motto. If you don't have these three things, you won't have a planned life. So how can it become chartered? When you become chartered, there are two routes in which you can become chartered. For the benefit of those that are new to ICAN, that's why I'm starting from this slide. We have the ATSWA, and we also have the professional students. For the ATSWA, we call it Account Technician Scheme for West Africa. It has three parts. We call them ATS1, ATS2, ATS3. But it's for those that have SSE or those that have ND. If you have OND, if you have SSE, this one is for you. That's why you see most people, when they have finished secondary school and they have WAEC, and JAMB has been slapping them right, left, right, and center, they start writing ATS. And I have some people in the audience here that they want to do ATS1, ATS2, ATS. I have a lot of students. Because rather than wasting your time with JAMB and JAMB keeps slapping you, even if you get admission in Polytechnic, OND, you can log into this year. You can see it is a 3-level examination for 15 months. For those with ordinary level certificate, I am purposely underlining it. And if you have OND, it's just for 6 to 12 months. Because they'll give you some exception. You start at probably ATS2 or ATS3. But if you have BSc, ATS is not for you. When you are through with ATS, they'll give you AAT certificates. That's why if I look at LinkedIn and I need someone that is AAT, ACA. Once you have ACA, you don't need AAT to be on your LinkedIn profile again. ACA is similar to AAT. AAT is like saying SSE, BSc. So if you are secondary school graduates, secondary school finalists, you are finished or you are already, AAT is for you. And Mr. Ahmed will still speak with that. And for AAT, there are a lot that you can do with AAT. There are a lot that we can do with AAT. Look at it. What AAT can offer. AAT in those days is for middle manpower. And with that, it provides opportunity. A lot of opportunity. Because with the AAT certificate, you can secure admission into a university to study BSc Accounting, BSc Finance, Economics, and many other. And many universities equate the AAT certificate with ND. In which after you have AAT certificate, you can enter university with 200 level. I have many of them in LASU. So AAT is not just. And another thing with AAT is that after with AAT, you go direct. Look at it. Holder of the AAT proceeds to ICAN professional level. Mr. Ahmed, you can attest to that, right?
Yeah, obviously, you're perfectly right. Of course, I am a product of AAT too, and you go to the skills and find out, a smooth journey. So you're on point, Mr. Abbas.
Thank you. Then we proceed to professional students. If you can see the link I link from my previous slide, you are just a student, you have AAT. From AAT, you move straight to professional level. And here, applicant must be hold a not below degree of any university or HND. So depending on the university that you are, once you are accredited, look at the word accredited. Not that you went to Abekoko University or Abekoko Polytechnic. Once your university is accredited, if you see my slide that I'm presenting now, you will see some university, their year of first accreditation. Abia State University since 1987. If you look at Al-Hikmah University, it's in 2009. And under accreditation, there are some universities in which they have what we call a mutual cooperation agreement with tertiary institution. For example, if you are Elizabeth University graduate, your university is under the mutual cooperation agreement. The University of Benin is under it. University of Nigeria, Nsukka, they are under it. Abia State Polytechnic, can you see? They are under it. Many people wondering, what is MKT? It's mutual cooperation agreement with tertiary institution. And it's open to all universities, BSc Accounting and Polytechnic HND accounting. You can say ICAN is not partial. All university BSc accounting and Polytechnic HND program. There are some things that ICAN are looking for. Once your university meets up with that, your university will put under MKT. And as you can see, the BSc accounting must incorporate all ICAN professional examination set up to skills level in addition to missing NUC requirements. So all the courses that we offer in university must be listed there. As you can see, beauty in business finance, and all core accounting courses must be handled by lecturers who are member of ICAN. So the MKT afford all some students that once they through, they just have 1 or 2 paper and you become a chartered accountant. So as at March 2022, we have 27 universities under the MKT. 5 are inactive, while 1 is suspended. Yobe State University is suspended, while University of Joy has been inactive. Delta Polytechnic is inactive. Delta University are inactive. The rest, 22, are still active. So if you are in this audience and you are a member of Covenant University, you are a member of MKT. Probably based on your agreement, you just write 1 or 2 paper and you become chartered. I don't know whether we have anybody that want to ask question now, but you still have time for question. So for professional students, there are a lot that ICAN offers you. A lot that will make your career, give you a rewarding career. And in doing that, ICAN did some changes to the syllabus for professional students. Why that changes is to incorporate some skills that accountant needs to cope with technological disruptions. We are facing a lot of technological disruptions. We are facing a lot of, and it's fun because it allows us to catch up with it. A lot of soft skills are required, and a lot of changes that is happening in the real world are being embedded into ICAN syllabus. So ICAN makes you that real world class accountant based on the mission statement of ICAN. So based on the updated syllabus, there are 15 subjects in line with International Accounting Profession, that is IFAC. 4 subjects as foundation level, 6 are skills, 5 are professional. Because we attend different universities and based on the exemption you may be granted. Some of you may start from foundation, some of you may start from skill or professional. If you want to know more about that, Excel Academy is there for you. Mr. Ahmed will guide you on that. So to know where are you starting from. Once you are a BSc holder, you will have certain exemption that may preclude you from starting at either foundation level, at skills or professional level. But once you are under the mutual corporate agreement with tertiary institution MKT, you are definitely starting right 1 or 2 paper in professional level. These changes. Before there is no tax under skill. Now we have tax under skill. And if you come on board to Excel Academy, we have seasoned lecturers, qualified professional. All the lecturers are qualified accountants. ACA, FCS. Foundation, skills, 6 paper is skills. Don't go and join to Romagbe Tutorial Center that they will be using students that has not qualified to train you. They'll be using it to learn. Out of 20 students, 50 students, 30 will fail. The teacher is teaching you to learn. Come straight to Excel Academy so you at a sitting. Make sure that pass this exam at a sitting. The professional level still remain unchanged, C5. And we all know that we have a case study guru in the name of Mr. Ahmed. If you have been failing case study in other theater, just come. You are sure to pass case study. So also our advanced taxation, SFM, we have the gurus here. CR, advanced auditing, we have it here. In line with ICAN updated syllabus. So for your exam, as professional students, we need to prepare your mind. Foundation is the same structure. But for skills, there is a question we call 30-mark compulsory question. That always taking your time. Section A, Section B, Section C. But don't be scared. Out of all these sections, you are just to answer 5. And out of that 5, your pass mark is 50%. 50%. With 60 lecturers that we have in ICAN, we always have high pass rates. We have some that score 75, some that score 85, some that score 80. We have them, we produce them here for Excel Academy. It's not them say, it's what is actually happening. So if you are here and you are here to make up your mind, Excel Academy is where you need to be. So, is the journey really worth it? It's worth it, but you suffer a lot of sleep derivation. You read midnight, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, every time. You will not have enough sleep because I will be wrong to say I will just tell you the sweet part. I will not tell you what you are about to come. You will not have enough sleep. You will have worry. You will have stress and depression. Repeated awakening. You read at night. Some of you will score 48, 40 or 49. You will have exam-induced illness. But if you join Excel Academy, all this your worry will be put to rest because we have sitting lecturer that will guide, that will mentor you. We tutor, we don't lecture here, we tutor, we teach our students. And our teachers are available for you 24/7, whether you have any type of question. Because my joy is when exam is released and I have 95% of my students on pass rate. Look at what I said, 95% of my students as pass rate. I will be sweet talking if I say 100%. But at least 95% of pass rate is more than A. And there are some subjects that you have 100% pass rate. So all this your worries will be put to bed when you log on to Excel Academy. The journey is really worth it. The journey is really worth it. What are the personal habits that will guide our students here? Know your study time and your sleeping time. And Excel Academy has deleted a lot of stress for you. You don't have any community time, logging at your comfort of your bed, of your home. You study. If you have any other question, our assistant tutor are there for you. But you need to avoid bandwagon and ITKC job. Don't say because your friend is going to one year, me and you tutorial, you two you go there because their money is cheap or because of something, one reason. Many students feel like ICAN exam because of bandwagon. My friend do this, I do this. No. Excel Academy is home for you. Avoid I too know. Sometimes we say, okay, is it not there this thing? I'll read it. I'll read it up. Reading for ICAN is not your reading when you are reading for your ND or your BSc. ICAN is a different ballgame entirely, and Excel Academy is a home for you. Avoid alcohol for those that do not alcohol. Okay, fine. It affects memory. So we say, I remember it before I enter exam hall. When I enter exam hall, everything pafuka. Village people. Your village people, they don't have data to remember you. They are busy. They can't remember you. It's something that you have taken that is affecting your memory. Exercise regularly, consume healthy diet, with Excel Academy as your choice. You are good to go. So what can I do with ICAN? Like I said, it's a global career with high earning potential. Most of our lecturers are just lecturing because they love of their passion. Some of them are well paid in their job that they are doing. That's why you don't have issue of any of somebody doing any money. And you have networking. You network a lot with global council member, with seasoned professionals. And LinkedIn has helped us a lot with this networking of everything now. And you know, your network is your net worth. It gives you social capital. I can't give you that. So we also have opportunity across various sectors, training and support. Another thing is that there is something that is reading now, read till I die. If you can comply with this, our success matter, ICAN is a rich thing of reach till I die. If you are with ICAN, you don't have a job. That means your network capacity is low. So lastly, for the benefit of those that are on this, what are the 7 mantra of successful people? If you want to be successful in whatever you are doing, be it ICAN or your, what are the 7 mantra? The first is that I'll figure it out. Have that knowledge of figuring it out. For you to figure it out, log on to Excel Academy. This lecturer will assist you in figuring it out. Everything in the world was built by people who are no smarter than you. Don't believe that anything is hard. You can get it done with the right tutor. All mistakes are only lessons. If you write a diet, an exam, maybe you probably fail, they are lessons for you to learn. But with the right tutor here at Excel Academy, we guide you, we prep you for you to avoid some silly mistakes. Because silly mistakes are not lessons, so some silly mistakes are foolishness. But some genuine mistakes are only lessons. When you work hard and smart, you know what you don't know. I didn't say work hard and smart. For you to be smart, Excel Academy is your home for you. You need to be hyper focused on your own direction. Forget about competition. Hyper focus on your own direction. And when it's a direction, when you are with Excel Academy, your direction is guaranteed. Take time to get it right in the beginning and never forget why you started. Thank you for your time. I will give room for the second and third speaker. These are my contacts. If you have any question or anything you want to inquire, Mr. Ahmed is also there. Over to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Babs. That was a wonderful and insightful session. And sincerely, I learned a lot, and I also know our participants also got a lot of valuables from the session. We appreciate you, and of course, the ATS session, as you have said, of course, it's maybe as a newbie to ICAN, or you're trying to consider, oh, where do I start from? I'm an O level, older, and all. ATS is the best way for you to start the ICAN program, and of course, it is definitely worth it. I remember some time ago when I also started ATS, down to final level. So I mean, I didn't feel any until case study, anyways. Though that is a story for another day. But now, guess who is called the case study guru? So yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Babalola Omori. We are glad to have you here, and we appreciate the insightful session. So let's invite the second speaker, the person of Temitope Obayemi. Welcome, Temi. We are glad to have you here. Of course, Temi is fondly called Flourish Temi. She graduated with a first-class honors from Babcock. She's an alumni of Lagos Business School and also a qualified chartered accountant. Temi also works with a top fintech company as a financial accountant. Temi, welcome. We are glad to have you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are watching from the world. My name is Temitope Obayemi, as he has rightly introduced. So today I'll be walking you through how to effectively cover your syllabus. But before I go straight into it, I would like to hear from one or two of us. You can put it in the comment section or you unmute your mic. How many of us are writing this next diet? If you're writing the next diet, I want to see your hands up, or you put it in the comment section. Thank you. All right, that's quite a number. So today we'll be talking about how to effectively cover the syllabus. Now, this is very important because if you don't get this aspect, then your preparation might be incomplete. So it is very important for you to learn how to cover your syllabus. I've gotten a number of questions from people saying, oh, I work, how do I combine work and schooling? How can I cover the syllabus? I don't have so much time. I have limited time. How is it possible for me to cover the syllabus? SFM is so voluminous, giving me plenty stories. Yes, I know. I've been there before. And then when I was writing my own exam too, I was also working too. But there are certain tips that helped me, that guided me into preparation. And I'm happy to share them with you today. So today, the first point is that acquaint yourself with the syllabus. Now, what do I mean by acquainting yourself with the syllabus? So say, for example, you are writing advanced audit and assurance. That's a paper in the final stage. Now, how many chapters are there in audit? Do you know? Do you know? If you don't know, then you have not started your preparation at all, because it's not just enough for you to jump into it and then start reading. You have to have a background knowledge of your syllabus. How many chapters are there? How many sessions are there? I know that there are some courses that they attach weights. They say session 1 is 5%, session 2 is 10%, and all of that. Do you have a knowledge of that? It's very, very important for you to have a background knowledge of your syllabus, because that way you make your learning journey easy. Your learning becomes enjoyable and meaningful, because once you know that, okay, in audits there are 20 chapters in audits, session A and session B is going to come up from chapter 1 to chapter 5 or something like that. When you have an overview of how your exam is structured, it guides your reading. Like, you are not just reading without direction. You are focused, there is clarity, and there is direction. And that's why it's very important for you have a brief overview, or you have an overall overview of how your syllabus is structured. Make sure you know how your syllabus is structured. Then when you do that, the second one is for you to create a workable reading timetable. I say it again, create a workable reading timetable. Now, I know that all of us have timetable. Yes, I know. Me too, I have timetable. But many of us, our timetable is not workable. So you know that you are not a night person. Like, you cannot read at night. But because your colleagues, they are going to your tuition center, they are reading overnight, you now set your timetable around, okay, in the middle of the night, I'll wake up, I'll read from 3 to 6 and all of that. Then half the time, you are just dozing off. That's not a workable timetable. Make sure your timetable is structured in a way that it accommodates your preferences as a person, and that's the place of self-awareness. If you don't know what works for you, then you might just keep up with the Joneses. So you have to know what works for you. When do you assimilate? Do you assimilate well at night, or you assimilate in the morning? So for example, now I can read at any time as long as I am mentally stable. I can read in the morning, I can read in the afternoon, I can read in the night. And there are certain people that they can only read very early in the morning, like say from 3 a.m. upward. They are very active, they can read at that time. And there are some people that they can read very well at night, whatever rocks your boat. But it starts from knowing yourself. So once you know yourself, you know that, okay, this is the time of the day that I assimilate well. Then create a timetable around that period. Then once you have created that, and again, before I proceed, I like to say that saying that I will read SFM from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is not a timetable. You have not created a timetable. You have to be specific. What are you reading? Now, the only way you will know what you are reading is if you have gone through your syllabus, and that takes me to the first point, familiarizing yourself with your course content. So if you know that, okay, if you know all the chapters in your syllabus, then you can draft a timetable that will say that, okay, at 10 o'clock on Saturday, at this time, I will be reading chapter 4 of SFM. That way, you are focused. I mean, there's a direction. You know what you are doing at this time. That way, you are able to put yourself on the toes. And that's also a KPI, because you are setting a target for yourself. Because you know that if on Saturday by 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you do not cover that syllabus, there's going to be a spillover. And that spillover is going to affect the other times you have set for yourself. That way, that means you are not meeting your target. And that way, you are in check. So the essence of having a workable timetable is to put yourself in check, to discipline yourself, and of course, to focus, to have a direction. Then the third one is start early. Start early. A lot of us procrastinate. Even me, I procrastinate, and it's not good. So there was this time I wrote an exam, and I like explanatory course. Anything that is explanatory that does not involve calculation, it is easy peasy for me, because I know that I can read and understand. So when I saw that, oh, there's no calculation in this course, I don't need to receive lecture, I said, okay, I'll start reading. I started procrastinating. Then when it was now 1 month to the exam, immediately I opened the syllabus. I saw, wow, I saw that the syllabus was so voluminous. I cannot cover it within 1 month. If I had started early, I would have discovered, yes, it is explanatory, but I would have discovered that this thing is not the ordinary thing that I am familiar with. I would have seen that, okay, these topics are not familiar. I need to start early. I need to start reading early. I need to start doing this. But because I assumed that, I know this thing, I mean, it's explanatory and I can read at any time. And then when it was 1 month, and I had to stretch myself, I started doing, double work. It is not good. It's not even good for your mental health, because you become overwhelmed and you get frustrated. So it's very important for you to start early. Again, if you are taking lectures, because I know that some of us are not taking lectures, we are self-studying. If you are taking lectures, make sure you go over the topic that has been taught before the next class. I say it again. If you are receiving lectures, say you are registered with Excel Academy, for example, and you receive lectures every Saturday, before the next Saturday, before you go back for that course, make sure you go over that topic. The reason I'm saying that is that if you don't go over that topic, you will forget. So it has happened to me a lot of times. I'm sure a lot of you can testify to this, where you are in a class. You are probably the one punching the calculators. Like, you and the lecturers, you are flowing. You know this, you know step 1, you know step 2, you know step 3. Then you forget about it. Then maybe after 1 month, you are revising. You are not asking yourself, how did you get this thing? Then you remember that, but I was not punching the calculator now. How did you get this thing? How did you arrive at this? How did you do this? It's because it's been a long time. Your brain is, it's over that topic already. So that's why it's very important. If you don't want to get yourself caught up in that web of trying to remember how you got this, how you got that, make sure you go over it. Go over what you have been taught before the next class. Then the next one is start with the easier topics. Now, how do you know that a topic is easy if you are not even familiar with the syllabus? It boils down to the first point of familiarizing yourself with your course content. Because once you familiarize yourself with your course content, there are certain topics that they will just jump at you. Like, you just get interested. Like, you're like, okay, I mean, it happens to me when I want to read a motivational book. I see the book, I go through the content, and then I see certain topics. I'm like, I'll start from here. And that way, it makes the entire book easy for me to read. Because if I start with the boring topic, for me to complete that book, I will not complete it because the topic is boring and it's not enjoyable. I abandon it. But if you start with a topic that is interesting, your brain is stimulated. And the only way you can know that this topic is interesting, this topic is easy, is when you know your syllabus. I mean, it is very important for you to activate your background knowledge. It is very, very important. So start with the easier topics. Start with the topics that you are comfortable with. The reason is because, number one, you don't want to get bored. Number two, you don't want to get overwhelmed. Because if you are, for example, you are taking SFM, there are certain topics that are easy, like capital budgeting and all of that. Those ones are very easy. But if you go and start with work, or you go and start with something out of box, you will get confused and then you get discouraged. And the next thing you see is that you abandon the book till when exam is now closed. You're not trying to hurry. You're not trying to, get everything into your brain at the same time. No, it doesn't work that way. Make sure you start early and start with a topic that is easy, because that way it becomes interesting. You're learning. It is a journey. Once you begin with something that is interesting, something that is easy, your learning journey becomes easier and it becomes fun. Because you have to enjoy reading. Because if you don't enjoy what you are doing, even if you are working and you don't enjoy what you are doing, you find out that you are tired. You get tired easily. It becomes boring and you get overwhelmed. Sometimes you get frustrated. So that's why it is advisable for you to start with the easier topics or you start with the interesting topics. Then the next point is for you to adopt the Pomodoro technique. Now you might want to ask, what is Pomodoro technique? So it is a technique where you identify a task to be completed and then you do it in sequence. Now this is it. You set a timer for 25 minutes. You do that task and then you take a break for 5 minutes. And then you start for 25 minutes again. You take another break for 5 minutes, like that, until you complete the task. Now what this helps you to do is to focus, number one. It helps you to focus. It helps you to avoid distraction. It helps you to manage your time very well. It helps you to manage your time. I use it a lot when I work. And it also helps when you are reading too. I mean, just make sure so for reading, you don't have to do 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. So what you can do is do 45 minutes. Do 45 minutes, then take a break of 10 minutes. Then come back to 45 minutes again, then take a break of 10 minutes. Rinse and repeat. That way, you see that you cover that topic faster compared to if you want to read at a stretch for 3 hours. So I advise that you don't read at a stretch for 3 hours. Don't read at a stretch for 3 hours because it gets boring. No matter how interesting that topic is, you will get tired. And you will see that even if you achieve that goal of 3 hours, I read for 3 hours, half the thing you read, you will not remember. Trust me, you will not. That's because you are taking your brain. You are taking too much at a time. So the best way to assimilate faster is for you to break it into sequence. So you can do 45 minutes first, take a break of 10 minutes, do another 45 minutes, take a break of 10 minutes, then do it like that, continuously like that. That way you are able to manage your time, you are able to stay focused, and you are able to cover more, like you cover more things than if you were doing at a stretch. Because if you are doing at a stretch, there's a tendency for you to get distracted, there's a tendency for you to get overwhelmed and you get tired, and that's it. Then the next one, this is my own personal advice. Again, whatever works for you. I would advise that you should take your notes by your hand. Don't use laptop. I mean, this is not ACCA where your exam is computer based. This is ICAN. It is still paper based. I think they said they changed it some while back to computer based, but I'm not sure of that. But if the exam is still paper based, make sure whenever you are taking your notes, make sure you use your hand. Why? Because it is, as you are writing it, you are reading. As you are writing, whatever point it is you want to take note of, you're also reading it. Like there's this consciousness in the mind that happens whenever you are writing with your hand. But if you are typing with your laptop, you might be typing, for people that type very fast, you might be typing and you are doing other things, like a lot of things are going on in your mind. But you cannot be writing and be thinking of something else. It's not possible. I mean, If you are writing, you have to look at the book safe. But if you are typing, you don't necessarily have to look at your laptop. If you're a very good typist, I mean, you can type without looking at your keypad. You can type without looking at your laptop. You are just typing. But if you are writing with your hands, I mean, you are active. It is an active learning, and active learning works faster than passive learning. And that's why it is advisable that anytime you are taking notes, when you are doing your personal reading, first of all, you have to take notes. When you take notes, use your hand. Don't type. Use your hand, because that way it sticks faster, and that way you are active. You are active in the learning process. Again, remember, your learning process is a journey, so you have to be actively involved. Then another thing is, I said you should use proper note taking. For example, SQ5R. I know we all did comprehension in school, English language, and all of that. They taught us how to do how to take notes, survey, then questions, then the 5 hours, read, recite, repeat, and all of that. Yes, adopt whatever strategy it is that works for you. Again, the bottom line is for you to be self-aware, whatever rocks your boat. So if taking notes with your hand works for you, please stick to it. But if it's your laptop that actually works for you too, I mean, there are certain people that works for them, stick to it as well. So whatever works for you, adopt it and use it. Then number 8 says that you should change your subject after 2 hours. Of course, that is in relation to the Pomodoro technique. Don't read at a stretch. It gets tiresome, it gets boring, and it gets overwhelming. So change your subject. And if you are here and you're like, how about me? After it's just one paper I'm writing, I have just case study left. How can I change the subject after 2 hours? Yes, still change it. You don't have to read academics. You could just read an article or go on a break. I mean, the essence is for you to take a study break, such that when you come back from your break, you are refreshed, your mind is settled, and then you can focus, you can start all over again. Because if you read for too long, half of what you read, you forget it. You only remember like the initial things you read. Any other thing that you read after your brain is saturated, you will not remember it again. So what's the point? More like you're wasting your time. So just take that break, change the topic, do something else, and then come back to it. And by the time you come back to it, you yourself, you will know that, okay, yes, I am refreshed, I am energized, I can start all over again. Now, another thing is for you to use visual cues for memorization. And this is particularly important for people that have been writing one paper for more than once. So if you have been writing one paper for more than once, please use visual cues. And what do I mean by that? Buy flashcards, buy sticky notes. Buy flashcards, buy sticky notes, stick it around. So there are certain concepts in your syllabus that is very compulsory. For example, you are taking SFM, you probably need to know MPV, you need to know WAC, you need to know this, those concepts that are very, very common. Put them on flashcards, put them on sticky notes, then stick it around. You can even stick it on your notes. You can stick it on your laptop. You can stick it anywhere, because the more you see it, the more it sticks. What you see every day, nobody can take it away from you. So it's very important for you to, and that's why you see when people are doing vision on body, I mean, it is the early part of the year now, a lot of people are writing goals, they are doing vision on body, they are doing this. What are they doing? They are basically sticking their resolutions on something that they can easily see. I mean, something that will remind them every day. It is just a constant reminder so that you don't forget, because out of sight is out of mind. So if I don't see it, you might forget, and there might not be so much time for you to come back to it again, because again, you don't have all of the time. You're probably writing 5 papers, so you don't have all of the time to dedicate to one paper. So one way to keep yourself abreast of that information is to stick it somewhere, so that whenever you pass, or if it is a laptop, whenever you open your laptop, you see it and you're like, okay, I know this, I know that. Then the last thing here is, I said, teach someone what you know. This is very, very important. I mean, after you are done with a topic, extend a help to someone else. Teach someone. I mean, if you're in a study group, teach your group members. You're not taking anything from yourself. In fact, the more you teach people, the more you retain that knowledge. A knowledge that you have shared is easier to retain than a knowledge that you kept to yourself. If you keep it to yourself, it's easier to lose. But if you teach somebody else, you retain that knowledge faster. In fact, you have another discovery. I mean, if you are teaching, you might know something for yourself, but when you want to teach somebody else, the person does not necessarily have to assimilate the way you have assimilated. The person will have ask questions. The person will question your assumptions. So why is it like this? Why didn't you do it that way? The more you are trying to explain to that way, you are shedding more light to that particular topic, and that way you retain that knowledge. So you don't have to come back to come and read it again. No, you probably just have to do final revision. You don't have to come back to read it, because I see some people tell me that, oh, I've read this thing 2 times, 3 times, I don't understand. Have you tried to teach somebody else? Have you tried to lecture somebody? Look for somebody, join a group, join a study group, teach somebody else. If nobody is cooperating with you, teach yourself. I mean, create an imaginary Zoom link, join the link, and teach yourself. Just make sure you are actively learning. You are actively in the learning journey, because that way you retain that knowledge faster compared to if you just keep it to yourself. You just read and you close your book and you're like, oh, I've read it. Trust me, when you come back, many of them, it will take time for you. You have to rack your brain before you remember. But if you have taught somebody, or if you have done it somewhere else, that way it sticks faster and you are able to retain that knowledge. And with that, you are able to, cover your syllabus effectively. You are able to manage your time. You are able to manage your time. You are able to, get the best out of your syllabus. Somebody might want to say that, okay, so why do I need to cover my syllabus? After all, questions are not going to come out from the whole syllabus, because we know that ICAN is just going to set 5 questions, and the 5 questions might just come out from maybe 10% of the syllabus. So why do I have to cover the entire syllabus? It is very important for you to cover the entire syllabus, because number one, you have to know that you are not reading to just pass the exam. You are a professional, so it is not just about passing the exam. Of course, the cross of the entire ICAN journey is for you to pass and become a professional. But you are not just reading alone. You are not just reading to pass alone. It's not just for you to pass and move on with your life. No, you are a professional. Somebody can just say something. You can be in a gathering and people are saying something. To be very wrong of you as a professional to not be able to contribute, because it's something that you have been taught. It's something that you know. It's something that is in your syllabus. So it will be very wrong of you, or it's very bad for you not to be able to contribute. But if you did not read it in your syllabus, you will not know, because what you did not read, what you did not know, there's no way you can contribute. You cannot give what you don't have. So first, it's not about. So you might want to say that I cannot cover the depth of everything. Yes, I know that you might not be able to cover the depth of everything, but have a basic understanding of all of the topics in your syllabus. Like, don't read chapter 1 to chapter 9 and leave chapter 10 alone, because chapter 10 never comes out. No, read everything, have a brief understanding about everything. Then if you want to work with trends, which is not advisable anyway, then you can now focus on certain topics. But that is not advisable, because exam can come from anywhere. This is not a university exam where you are given area of concentration. ICAN will not tell you that this is what they will set. They can come from anywhere. So it's very advisable for you to cover the entire syllabus. And then again, you are not reading to pass alone. You are reading to know. You are reading for the knowledge of it. You are reading for the understanding, because you are a professional. And as a professional, it will be very wrong of you for you to be in a gathering or for you to be asked basic questions about accounting, and you cannot say it just because you don't know, you are not aware. So that's one of the reasons why it is very important for you to cover your syllabus. Familiarize yourself with your syllabus. Know everything about your syllabus, and with this, you are sure to ace your exam. Not just to ace your exam, but also become a grounded professional that you aspire to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Temitope. That was a wonderful and insightful session from you. And I picked from what you said about piling up topics or notes to read. Of course, I've been a victim of that, and honestly, I must tell you, in the end, it would surely tell, because you'll be trying to cover up, doing all sort of overnight and all. But you should start early. You should start the preparation early. That won't occur, do you get? Because you would have covered substantial part of what you are meant to cover. You get? So don't pile up your topic, or don't pile up your reading. Start now. Do you get? Set aside 2 hours a day to study. It would be definitely worth it. So thank you very much, Temitope. We appreciate you for that. Thank you very much. So let's go to the third speaker, the person of Olamide Emida Idris. Welcome. So Olamide is a prize winner. Yeah, a back-to-back prize winner of ICAN. He's a chartered accountant, a qualified chartered accountant, and also emerged as the best qualifying male candidate at the professional level, November 2021. And also Olamide Emida also benefited from our study resources at Excel Academy. So Olamide, over to you. Welcome, and we'll be glad to hear from you.
Okay, thanks for having me, Mr. Ahmed. Hi, everyone.
I can hear you.
My name is Olamide Emida, and Mr. Ahmed has rightly introduced me. So, Mr. Babalola has told us about ICAN, everything about ICAN, and Temitope also has covered how we can make sure we cover the syllabus before the exam period. So, I'm going to personalize my own now. How do you prepare for ICAN exam? My own personalized study. How do I study? How do I prepare for ICAN exam to win prizes? And how can you prepare also to pass, to ace the exam? It is not difficult if you are ready to work for it. So I have a few tips here to share with you on how to pass your exam and also win prize. Because anybody can win prize. I don't have 2 heads. Can also win prize also. So the first thing is for you to have a goal. What exactly do you want to achieve? Okay, what exactly do you want from the exam? Okay, is it a particular score you want, like 70, 80? What exactly do you want? Why do you want to write the exam? Okay, are you writing the exam to get promotion at work? Okay, are you writing the exam to stand out when you are planning to apply to a bigger company? Or are you writing the exam to be a prize winner? There should be a goal that will motivate you and inspire you. Because there will be a moment where you'll be scared, there will be self-doubt, you'll be overwhelmed, you will want to give up. But once you remember this goal, you are going to be motivated to continue. You are going to be motivated to persist until you succeed. And you should also have a study plan. Okay, you have to examine yourself. Okay, what time is best for you to read? Okay, by a working class, maybe you decide to read from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. before the start of work. Or you find a time after the end of business for you to read. Or if you are not working, you can also find time to read for at least 2 hours every day. It is very important you break your syllabus into small steps that you can just read every day. Then you have to start reading now. It is important for you to start reading now. You don't have time. If you think you have time, you are just deceiving yourself. You don't have time. And before we know it, it is May already. So you have to start reading now. And don't just read to pass the exam. Read to understand. So I don't want you to just cram ICAN solutions in the park. You have to read to understand. Read with the goal that you want to be able to solve any questions that you are faced with in the exam hall. You have to start reading now. Start reading today. Then it is important for you to attend tutorials. It's important for you to attend tutorials. Why is it important? Okay, what will take you 4 hours to read or 3 hours to read, a tutor can just explain it to you in like 1 hour, and you are saving yourself 2 hours for you to do something else productive. It is important for you to attend tutorials. And you can have access to tutors that you can get real-time information from. You can ask them anything and immediately they are going to respond to you. And that's why we have the Excel Academy here for you. Then you need to cover the syllabus. The Temitope has told us ways for you to cover the syllabus. It's very important for you to cover the syllabus because ICAN can test like 5 topics on just 1 question. Just imagine that you read just one. How do you want to pass the question? For example, now SFM, you only read about discounted cash flow analysis that deals with taxation and inflation. And in the example, you are seeing question on WACC, you are seeing question on exchange where you need to convert currency. Then how do you want to do it? So it is important for you to cover all the syllabus, cover everything in the topic, and Temitope has given us tips on how to do that. It's also important for you to practice soft questions. Okay, because Mr. Ahmed can teach you everything today, and you can read everything to your own. But if you don't practice, then you are just deceiving yourself. You need to solve questions. The more questions you solve, the more things you learn. You learn new things, you see trend. You see how a particular question comes out. You know how to solve a particular question. For example, for myself now, from solving the SFM question, DCF question, I was able to realize that, okay, I should start from revenue, then less any cost, then treat anything that relates to inflation, taxation, before I start treating the cost of investment and depreciation on it. And that way, it is easy for me to solve any questions with it. So I know the steps to follow. So it is important for you to solve past questions. check ICAN pathfinders, learn new things, learn the way they set questions for you, and this way you should be ready to pass your exam. And it's also important that you pray, because your ability and your intelligence cannot sustain you. You also need God's mercy, especially for things that you cannot control. So you need to pray, you need to ask for His mercy, you need to ask for His guidance. So this one I see as an example. Like a day before your exam, I remember I had an accident, but I stood up from that scene as if nothing happened. The next day I went to the exam hall. When the result came out, I still won prize. So it is God's mercy. You need to pray. You need to ask for His guidance. You need to ask for His protection, especially for things that you cannot control, external factors that you cannot control. Then lastly, you need to give yourself enough rest. Because ICAN is a challenging exam. You need to sacrifice your time. You need to sacrifice your efforts. You need to make commitments. But the last thing you want to sacrifice is your health. So anytime you feel sleepy, please sleep. You can't just read throughout. If you are feeling tired, please sleep. You need to give your time rest. You need to sleep. If you are reading for like 1 hour, you can use like 10 minutes to rest. If you are reading for 2 hours, find time to rest. Do something else productive. You need to give your time rest. So with these few tips, I think you can pass your exam. You can also win prize. That is, you need to set realistic goals. You need to have your study plans. You need to start reading now. You don't have time. You have a lot to cover. You need to attend tutorial. You have Excel Academy there for you. You also need to cover the syllabus. And the Temitope has given us tips on how to cover the syllabus. And you need to practice more questions. Solve past questions. Solve ICAN pathfinders. I would advise you to download the last 10 diet questions and make sure you cover them. Solve them before you go to the exam hall. Then pray. It is important for you to pray. Then give yourself enough rest. For me personally, I make sure 2 weeks before the exam, I don't read anything. I only revise what I've read and I practice. So that way I know I'm not stressing myself 2 weeks before the exam, and I'll make sure that I'm in the right state of mind. So thank you for having me, Mr. Ahmed, and thanks to every other speaker too, and to the attendees. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Olamide Emida, our ICAN scholar. We really appreciate you for the wonderful tips you've shared. They are really, really insightful, and of course, I can attest to the setting of the realistic goals. Yeah, I'm a fan of that too. Do you get? So, of course, set a goal for myself. For every exam I want to write, I set an expected performance for myself. Then I work towards that. Do you get? So this will be a motivation for you. Do you get that? And even at some point you might be tired. Yeah, but once you remember that goal, of course you will be inspired. Do you get? So thank you very much, Mr. Olamide, and yeah, that's all from our speakers, and I believe you all picked 1 or 2 insightful and valuable tips from what they have all said. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them on the chat box. Yeah, I would be glad to read them out, and also go to the next discussion. So we have our tutors. Though the time would not permit, but also when you join us, you would be glad to meet them, and of course they are, they are experienced and professional accountants, who would, and they would be glad to share their experience and their wonderful techniques with you, to help you pass your exams too. So, here's our next diet lectures, the May 2023. So do well to join us, and you can just put down the link, or I'll send it to you in your DM on WhatsApp, to join our classes for May 2023 diet. And guess what? We have loads of study resources, and let me also tell you one thing. These resources we have, I can tell you that it's only Excel Academy that goes extra mile to provide those resources for you. We have class notes on each topic. Guess what? Last time the question 1 of our mock exam, came out as ICAN exam. I know some of us might be like, oh, maybe the tutor has seen the question. I am the tutor. I handled performance management, and I didn't see the exam question. It was the way ICAN picked it. That is where we pick questions from: the ACCA past questions, the CIMA past questions, and the likes. And we use that to teach our students. And guess what? That's exactly where I can brought those questions from. So I know you can't wait to join us to also benefit from our loads of resources. We have past question trends. That would really help you a lot. Do you get where you see, the list of past questions and the topics ICAN has set over the years? With this, you'll be able to know which topics are consistent. For example, you can't go to a PM examination without knowing budget, transfer pricing, variance, and the likes. They get, likewise FR. You can't go to an FR exam without knowing group account, published account, the ratios and the likes. They get so on and so forth. Yeah, so it's very important for you to know the vital aspect of the courses, and we'll be glad to share them with you at Excel Academy. So yeah, here's a question from Ozioma. She said, insightful webinar, thank you. What are the criteria for winning prize? Yeah, so basically the criteria for winning prize includes you having at least 70 in your other subjects, then having an outstanding performance, in a particular subject. And also, if aside from the subject prizes, we have the merit prizes, like the first overall, second overall, there is this, first best overall as at 2020 or so. He didn't win any subject prizes, but he emerged as the first overall. Yes, which means when they calculated all his scores together, he was the highest. Do you get that? So that's what it means. So, and also in other courses too, like I said, you have to have a minimum of 70 and you need to sit for at least 3 courses. Yeah. So I think I've reviewed it here to 3 courses. So also, as a working class, can one pass all papers and skills in one attempt? Yeah. So let me throw that to one of our speakers. So Mr. Babalola Omori, we'll be glad to hear your response on that.
Okay, which of the question is that?
Yeah, she asked that as a working class person, can one pass all papers and skills in one attempt?
That means you are writing 6 papers in one attempt.
Yes.
It depends on your focus. Like in 2019, there was a guy, they were like 5 friends, and they entered into betting with me that November 2021 diet, they were writing 6 skills paper. They were like 5 friends, and they told me that what can they do to pass the exam? I say you need to follow what your lecturer teach you. Forget ITK. When you follow the lecturer teach you, also read on your own. 50k. If any of them pass that 5-6 paper at once. Mr. Ahmed, though not all of them pass, just 4 pass. This is a bit I told them what to do. Follow your lecturer's notes, follow your lecturer's guide, and do a bit of more reading by yourself. Based on what Olamide said, cover 10 ICAN revision question before the diet. And the 4 of them, one of them is recently qualified. Though I could not give them 50k, I had to beg. 50 times 4, 200k. I had to beg I give them 20k as a reward. So it's doable. You can do it. Just follow what your lecturer promise. Do your bit. And I will be glad to be part of your journey because you'll be doing CSME. I will be glad to be part of that journey. And Ozijoma, you can do it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babalola. That was a great one. Of course, I also passed my skills level papers as once. It requires a lot of commitment anyways and a lot of vigorous torture to get. And I also have a friend then in skills level. He wrote 6. Yeah, he wrote 6 as once then and he passed. Yeah, and guess what? He's working at a bank. So, and you know what he does? Every night when he's back from work, he loads at library. So he reads overnight, and the second day he take his bait, wear his clothes, and go to work. So it requires dedication, commitment, and it requires the focus. Do you get that? So, and of course you need to set at least 2 hours study every day. If you can meet up with this requirement, you would be able to pass them at once. To get. And for more information, you can reach out to the number I've dropped on the chat box. So also you asked what is the rough estimate for skills level exams. Feel free to reach out to me. I would attend to those questions. I will give you the list of the fees. Also the study pack questions too. Send a message to me. I would give you the list. And also, when should one start tutorial? Yeah, we are starting tutorial January 16. Do well to join us. So, and also, we would give you access to our study resources in advance, which you can use to start preparing. The key is start preparing now. So also someone asked, can one still win prize when it's not one's at first attempt? Well, the answer is no. Yeah, the answer is no. But of course, you can aim to have an outstanding performance. You can have, you can score more than the prize winner. Yes. Because the criteria for winning prize is you having minimum of 70 and above and also having an outstanding performance. But I have had situations where someone will sit for a course and it would have 90, 99 and the like. Yeah, you can aim at that. Though you won't win prize, but of course you will be fulfilled. Do you get that? You will know that, oh, that paper that gave you an issue, you came back with full force. Do you get that? Yeah. So someone also asked, for one who is working 9 to 5 and who is also running a BSc program pattern, is it advisable to write 4 papers in skills or to write 2 papers per that? Well, I mean, that's a lot anyways, working, schooling. It depends. If your work is not that rigorous, if you can take your books to work, you should be able to do it. But I think, the best way, from this, I think you should split it, looking at the conditions attached. I think you should split it to 2. So also, when you have 3 subjects left to write, can one still win prizes? Well, no, you can't. So far, it's your second attempt. So thank you very much and for your questions. Please feel free to add your questions before I go to our testimonies.
Okay. About the online lectures, how much is it?
About the fees, the fees varies depending on the number of courses you are offering. So I've dropped the number you can contact for all questions you have, and we'll be glad to clarify that. So please feel free to check the tag box, and I've dropped the number. Do well to reach out to us. I would be glad to guide you on that. Yeah, thank you. So we have Idemudia. He joined us for case study, and he joined us 5 minutes. And guess what? He passed, and now he was even like, oh, I wish I had known. I should have joined you guys for AAA. And now he's looking forward to joining our audit guru, the person of Mr. Babs, to passing AAA with ease. Now we also have Mr. Moshood Folarian. Okay, I don't think he's here. I don't think he here. Though I think he joined, maybe he had to attend to something. So yeah, Mr. Moshood also joined us, and guess what? He passed excellently. He joined our online classes and he passed excellently. I know most of you might be like, oh, online class, is it effective? It's absolutely effective. It's an audio-visual class whereby you get to see the screen, what the lecturer is talking about. You get to see step-by-step workings. The lecturer would solve questions, not like we have prepared the solution. No, we would solve the question from the beginning in class. Do you get that? And we would end it to explain, step by step. And also it's accessible from anywhere. Do you get, it's not restricted to a particular location. No. So we also have Olakunle Olaonipekun. Yeah, he also passed case study excellently with Excel Academy. So we have Mrs. Damilola Momodu. Mrs. Damilola Momodu, are you here? Kindly unmute your mic and do all to say hi to us, and we'll be glad to hear from you.
Yes, I'm here with you. Good afternoon, my fellow colleagues. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. We're glad to have you. Welcome. Yeah, can you share us your learning experience with Excel Academy?
Yes, I started the lecture with Excel Academy last diet, and I had a good experience. I was having only PM to write, and the last diet I wrote, I got 17. I was discouraged. I didn't even want to write the exam. After the lecture, I had to start. Can I still make it? Writing this exam, he encouraged me, and I paid for the exam. And alas, my result came out, and I passed. So I'm looking forward to starting another journey with Excel Academy because it's been a good experience.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad, and I remember she was my student. I took them PM, and I remember how she also as you to learn. She passed PM with 73. Right from a very low mark. All right. Also, we have Mrs. Grace Nate too. She joined us, and we have several others too. We have Oladeji Oluwatoki. Mr. Oladeji also joined us for advanced taxation. Yeah, and he passed excellently. Do you get that? Yeah, he passed. We give him the right study techniques. That's one thing about Excel Academy. Do you get? So, we give you everything you needed, to pass the exam. Do you get that? Yeah, and that's it. Your own is just follow the instructions, attempt all assignments, attempt mock exams. Do you get? And with this, trust me, you will surely pass the exam excellently. Do you get? We also have Mr. Ale Bukola. Yeah, he joined us. Guess what? All his professional level courses, he used Excel Academy online lectures and our study resources, and he passed excellently. But he wasn't able to join us today. He told me he had an engagement too. So yeah, so that's that. And those are just some of our students. We have others, who are not able to make it here today. But thank you very much, and I think we've addressed some question and answers. But if you still have other question and answers you want us to address, please feel free to drop them, and we'll be glad to attend to them.
Concerning the online class,
Yeah.
like what time are you taking it? Is it only Saturdays?
Okay. So the classes are every day, and in the weekdays we do evening classes like 8:30 to 11. By that time, of course, it's expected that you should have gotten home, should have relaxed a bit, then you join the class, right from the comfort of your home. Do you get that? So, and if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to the number I dropped on the comment section, and we would be glad to attend to your questions. Yeah, so do any other person have any question?
I have a question, please. When is the timetable to be out?
The timetable is out already. Please message me and I will send it to you.
Okay, sir.
All right. So do you have any other question? All right. So I think if there are no questions, then let me first of all especially appreciate our guest speaker for giving us insightful and valuable tips how we can pass our ICAN exams with ease. And also to our wonderful participants who joined us, who took our time to join us, and also to benefit from the valuable tips we've shared. We really appreciate you all. So thank you very much. Should you have any questions, any queries, or also you have interest in joining the classes, feel free to send a message to the numbers I dropped on the chat box, and also I would reach out to you all on your WhatsApp page. Feel free to let me know if you have any question so I can guide you better. So thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate you all, and also we look forward to having you in the classes. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye for now.